Welcome into Gamesthetic episode 197. I'm Alex Light with Sparky3. Hope you're having a phenomenal day today, whatever day you're listening or watching this show. Back after a break for Thanksgiving. Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with friends and family, and hopefully you picked up some good stuff for Black Friday if you did any shopping. No Zach today, but we got John. John, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
It's all right.
Did you do any Black Friday shopping?
No. Well, I did shopping. It just happened to be around that time.
Okay, it just kind of worked out that way.
It kind of just happened to be like I was already planning on buying stuff, and I just happened to buy it when the sales were still going on.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't think I actually hit up any. Actually, I did. Yeah, I did because I was talking to you about it. So I did do one piece of Black Friday shopping. I did get my wife a PS5 because I got it for honestly an incredible deal. Because while most of the game deals weren't that great, I will say the PS5 deal was pretty solid. At the $425 for the physical and like $375 for the digital. So I already had the cash in hand to pay for it regardless. But I actually put it on my Amazon credit card, paid it off immediately, whatever, because I had like $85 of like rewards, so I got it even lower. So I was just like, all right, that's a deal. Let's go. So shout out to that. That was the Black Friday shopping. I don't think I did anything else, honestly and truth. I can't think. I didn't pick up any game deals and stuff. There was a couple things I considered, but didn't end up pulling the plug. But hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving. We had a good Thanksgiving over here. It was fun. It was good. Good food. Still got leftovers in there that I probably need to get rid of at this point. But I've also been banned from the leftovers. It gets the stomach a little upset, if you know what I mean. So probably need to get rid of the leftovers in there, but overall had a great time. Hopefully everyone listening also had a great time. So today's episode, Marvel Rivals dropped, so I'll touch on that. We got Path of Exile 2 early access that John can touch on. We're going to go back to old trusty, old reliable, circle back to an old conversation that we've had 74 million times about the game industry's burning down. Because over the time we were off in this week, had some, I would say, fairly notable news come out in a few different regards of studio closure involving a big name. We had, unfortunately, more layoffs. We had rumors of cancellation content, a bunch of other things. So just old trusty, old reliable. Then just a bunch of other random stuff. I will say for like the upcoming schedule, we should be live this upcoming Thursday on the 12th for the Game Awards. You can watch alongside of us. So if you want to come tune in, we'd appreciate that. Then, of course, live back again next Saturday for the Game Awards and Indiana Jones, which I will play. I have pre-installed it. I will play it. It's on Game Pass. I figured, why not? I'm not excited at all, but I'm going to play it. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, that was my excuse for playing games. I wouldn't go into it and be like, I'm not excited for it. I'm like, oh, let's see how this is gonna go.
Right. Well, I said, screw it, whatever. I'll give it a shot. I don't think it's going to impress me because I'm not an Indiana Jones fan. In fact, one of my favorite reviewers, Gene Park, kind of said the same thing going into it, where like all the reviews started dropping. He said there was not a review from him up because he flat out said, I do not like Indiana Jones. I wish the property would just go away. I don't care about any of the movies or the character. And he openly said if he did a review, it would be from the perspective of, can this pull him in as someone who does not give a shit? So I was like, that's kind of my thought process too. Can this pull me into a property that I don't care about? So whatever. It's on Game Pass. It is what it is. I pre-installed it, so I'll try it out on Monday. And I'll talk about it next week. And then on the 21st, we will have our Gamesthetic Game of the Year ordeal thing, whether if it's a list or a bracket. I don't know. I messaged Zach about that. I was just like, we just got to, when he said he wasn't going to be here, I was like, we just got to figure that out. I don't know what we're going to do. We always do a list, and I think we decided to do a bracket, but I don't really care which one we do. So, got to work on that. Then we'll be taking a break on the 28th for the Christmas period, and then we'll be back on January 4th for the 2025 Outlook and Predictions episode, which I'll be curious to see what predictions we throw out there this year that will most likely be wrong. You get a lot of hits in the middle of the year. Like your middle of the year ones.
Yeah, my beginning of the year predictions suck. Once I get a read on the year, I'm pretty straight in there.
Yeah, like you hit it pretty well. But yeah, hopefully we'll have some good predictions. I need to do a roundup of all of our predictions from last year or this earlier this year and see What I haven't updated it for a little bit on where all we're showing. Oh, look at that! One of your predictions was Mass Effect was going to be shown this year, so we'll see
Yeah.
if that comes true at the Game Awards.
I don't expect it to.
Holy shit, John! I just realized you got one of your predictions right. Mobile game will be nominated for Game of the Year. I didn't know that was this year. Look at that.
Did I do that again this year? I feel like that's one I've been throwing out.
Yeah, but yeah, that was your last prediction. Was that mobile game will be nominated for Game of the Year? I mean, I know Balatro again started off.
It did start off as a mobile
But
game,
it is a mobile game.
But it took off as a mobile game.
Yeah, exactly. So look at that. You nailed a really good one. Shout out to that. But yeah, that's going to be our upcoming schedule. So if you could tune into all that, we would definitely appreciate it. As well as check out our Patreon down link below. Join the Discord, be a friend, tell a friend, check out some Rogue Energy and Agent Inc. that we will shout out later in the show as well. Anything that you want to shout out, or you just want to go ahead and kind of get into stuff?
Let's get into it. I might have something for later.
Okay, all right. I'll do a little shout out here in a bit for this thing.
Yeah,
I'll do a shout out here in a bit.
I got some tangents I can go on later.
Yeah. All right, so let's kick things off with Marvel Rivals, the Overwatch clone with a Marvel skin.
Okay. Just leading this off.
All right.
I zero interest in this.
Right.
I have seen it's been doing good numbers.
It has been doing good numbers.
From what I saw, I think it was like, the one time I checked, I think it was like mid 300,000s on Steam.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, really good.
Yeah. No, checked actually before the show. Its all-time peak, I think, was still at like 444. And then I think it was at like 400 something, like 409 before we started the show. So, I mean, it's doing really good numbers. So that's great to see. We love to see that. The one thing that I definitely want to praise is the fact that this, free-to-play game, this, honestly pretty big title in the space and pretty big multiplayer title to come out, and I'll be honest, 0 server issues. So that's a huge W right out of the gate. I gotta keep it a buck on that. Like,
are you attacking my game now?
A little bit. I'm throwing some shade in something you'll talk about here in a bit. But
Mine's gonna be around longer.
Okay, all right. But yeah, no server issues, man. So that's been fun. Got into it, and I mean, it is just exactly what you would think. It's a hero shooter. I mean, what do you want me to say, right? The gameplay is very fluid. It feels great. If you like Overwatch, you're gonna like this game. It's that simple.
I think pretty much everybody has seen a lot of the footage, because during the playtest and everything, videos for that kind of exploded because everybody wanted to know what it would look like. And it turns out it looks like Overwatch.
Looks like Overwatch, feels like Overwatch. In terms of stupidity, the stupidity from Overwatch is definitely there in terms of team comps, where it's just like, guys, what are we doing? Why am I the only tank? Why do we have 5 damage? What are we doing? Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, there's still that for sure. I have yet to really find a character that I feel super great with, and I've touched on every character. I've only played a handful in quick match, but I've played everyone in practice. I would probably say Captain America is the one that I feel the best with, and him being a tank hero. As long as I can get a decent healer with me, I can do some damage with Captain America. But as I said once upon a time, I made a short about this. The first thing I did is I went in there with Spider-Man, first game, swung in 2.5 seconds and died. So, all right, yeah, I saw the writing on the walls for that one. Didn't actually do that bad for my first game. I don't know. It doesn't show you deaths, so shout out to that. But I ended up with 14 kills. So I was like, okay, I don't feel too bad, but I have not played Spider-Man since. Because the one thing that I quickly realized is that I think I'm just too old for that, because it's too damn fast. If you're going to play Spider-Man right, in my opinion, it's too damn fast. I've seen some Spider-Man since who just kind of stay on the ground. They don't do all the fast stuff, and they just get wrecked the entire game. If you want to use Spider-Man effectively, you got to get up to speed, and my eyes and my brain can't get up to speed anymore.
I've definitely had moments like that recently where I come to that realization. I'm like, man, it's like 5-10 years ago, this would have been my character,
right?
These days, and it's and then you slowly move over to the more generic characters, and you're like, this is where I live now.
Yep. That was me with Spider-Man, man. I finished the first game like I said to myself I would, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna come back to this. I think I'm too old for this now. 5 years ago, we would have cooked, but now whew, I don't have the same reaction time. But no, I mean, Captain America's been pretty fun. Jeff the Land Shark is a pretty fun healer and really the only healer that I can effectively play as of now. But I haven't got a chance to play other healers because like we get in there and it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm playing tank again. It's like don't really get a lot of chances to play damage.
You don't have to play tank.
Well, I'm trying. I want to have a balanced team, especially when the other team's balanced. So I was like, I want to have a chance to win.
You're forgetting something though. DPS for life.
I know clearly when my entire team is DPS, man. But I mean, it has been a lot of fun. All the characters, obviously they have different shades of like what you would see out of like Overwatch characters and stuff. I mean, like Doctor Strange, like has his portals and something that you would see in like some MOBAs and stuff. He has his big shield like Reinhardt. Captain America has his expanded shield like Reinhardt and stuff. Scarlet Witch has got some a little bit of Moira vibes in the damage department. That is, more a healer, but Scarlet Witch being DPS here, yes, but. Rocket Raccoon, he's got his heal kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Moira heal where it's just like the ball that she throws out. In this case, Rocket throws out and it kind of bounces around. So I see shades. I saw a comment from Mike Ybarra, former Activision Blizzard like Prez whatever, where he flat out said, "Yeah, this is just an Overwatch." Oh yeah, no shit. I mean, I think anyone with a half a brain cell could figure that part out. But it has been a lot of fun. I've only played probably about 3-4 hours of it, so I think that's a nice little setting so far. Played a good chunk today. Only played a little bit last night and a little bit Thursday night when it went live. But again, overall, it's just been fun. All the I haven't personally found a character that as soon as I see them, I get immediately pissed. The internet seems to mostly be pissed at Iron Fist. I don't know. I've encountered Iron Fist and I don't feel like they were that much trouble. So maybe I just got a bad one. I don't know, but I can see how they would be trouble. But again, it's free to play. It's if you like Overwatch and you like Marvel, you're gonna like this game. It's that simple. The servers have been really good, have been great. In terms of any sort of transaction stuff, since it is free to play. There's really not none. I mean, if you want to go into the store and just buy skins, go for it. But that's it. I mean, I saw where you can buy like the battle pass and get some skins. And with the battle pass, they don't restrict you to finish that battle pass in that season. If you buy the battle pass, you have it, period. And you can finish it at any point. This is season 0. So if, you're kind of a lazy player and you buy the battle pass, the enhanced battle pass, and it comes season 14, you can still finish the season 0 battle pass and get all the stuff for it. So that's neat. I like it. I like seeing games do that. That's pretty nice.
I prefer when they have that option.
Yeah. That's definitely preferable. It seems very consumer friendly. Again, all champions are free. All future heroes are going to be free. Literally the store is nothing but just cosmetics. That's it. For the record, I did not go in and immediately spend money. For the record, did not. Although I was very tempted with the Spider-Man No Way Home bundle just for the MVP animation that I will never see because I'm bad. And that's why I didn't buy it. Because the animation is the 3 generations of Spider-Man swing where they all land together from the movie. And I was like, that's sick. I want that, but I'm bad, and I'm especially bad with Spider-Man, and I will never see that screen after a game. But it's one of those things that you buy it, and the one time you do see it, it all pays off. It's like, oh, yes, I get to see this. This is great. But yeah, overall, it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it. Looking forward to playing some more. Steve added me, so I imagine me and Steve are gonna be hitting it up at some point. I kind of looked at his play history so far to kind of get a gist on who he's been playing. Looks like he's been playing like a little bit of Thor and stuff. I tried playing some Thor earlier. Don't know if he's gonna be a champion for me, but he seems all right. I don't know my role yet. My normal role for these games is always like tank and healer, just because like DPS always gets filled up so quickly, and I just kind of settled for that. And I got pretty good at tank and healer, so I was like, I'll just keep rocking with that. But I haven't found like my groove yet. Besides Captain America, that's the only champion where I get in there and I'm just like, all right, I feel pretty confident that we can get in here and turn things around. But still working on that. Still got to figure out, especially in the healing department. I like Jeff a lot. But I see people do Jeff things that I'm just like, how do you Jeff? Like, he's not hard, but it's just like, how do you end the game with the highest damage on your team with 12k damage and like 5k, 6k healing, which that's all right. I mean, I'll end with over 10k healing in a full 3-round game. It's like, how do you get 12k damage with Jeff? What did you do? How do you play? So I think that was just simply a case of not playing the character correctly and just playing how they want, which respect, because that's how I used to do with Moira. When it came to me and Moira, and I would have people in the game bitch about the healing, versus the damage. Like, it's like, oh, Moira, you're doing too much damage. It's like, brother, listen, brother. If I'm leading the team in damage and I'm beating the other team's healer in healing, I don't want to hear a fucking word. Do your job. That was my stance with my Moira in Overwatch. It's like, I don't want to hear it. All right, just shut up. Same thing with Brigitte. Brigitte, I think that was her name. Same thing with her. Even like
I'd love to be able to help.
I know. That was snaps to myself. This
was one where it's like I knew we'd be talking about this today. Yes. I'm like, man, he's got to be talking to himself here because I'm gonna be a wall because I know nothing about the game or any of the references he's gonna make.
Well, it's fun. It's funny because we're about to switch roles here in a second, so it's okay. That's just one of these shows. It is what it is. But again, overall, very fun, free to play. If you like Overwatch, you like Marvel, go play it. I mean, servers have been great. It's been overall very consumer friendly. Looking forward to seeing who the next hero is going to be whenever they end up adding that. Just looking forward to seeing the future of Marvel Rivals, the competitive scene as well. I saw where you could sign up for some tournaments starting soon in the main menus. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Excited for the future of Marvel Rivals. So what about Path 2? How's Path 2 treating you the little bit you've played so far? You went from not very excited earlier in the year saying, I'm going to play it anyway.
So I knew you were going to bring this up.
Because I brought it up last time.
I was thinking about it yesterday, actually. Yeah, because
I think it was like mid-year.
It was like beginning of the year. I was like, I knew that the beta was going to be coming. Middle of the year, you asked me, I'm like, I don't care. It's going to come. I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
Legitimately, there was zero interest from me until 2 days ago.
That's what happens sometimes.
And it's like, that's because it was finally happening.
Yeah, it was like the switch got flipped.
Yeah, it was like the switch got flipped. I knew it was happening.
Right.
And I already had access. Because you either had to buy a supporter pack to gain access to it, or spend enough money on Path of Exile 1.
Right.
And so I apparently I've spent enough money on Path of Exile 1, so I had my key. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. Very, very different.
Okay, how so?
Damn near everywhere.
Okay, all right.
A lot of the systems have changed. The core of it is still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Path of Exile 2 beta or closed beta released yesterday. It was supposed to release at about 1 p.m. Central Time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of server issues coming into it. A lot more attention than than they expected, because they came out the night before it came out, or the game released, basically saying, "Hey, we were preparing for potentially like 1 million players, and now we've passed over 1 million people buying the supporter pack alone."
Wow.
So it's like there was because like you could, it's across Steam, Epic, standalone client, and consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, Steam was upwards of 500 to 600,000, somewhere around there, maybe mid 500. But yeah, it finally came out, and I didn't get to play it too much last night because server issues and that. This morning when I went to hop on, it was disconnected and they were patching some stuff. So took me a little bit to actually get into it this morning, but I've played it for about 6 hours or so.
Mm-hmm.
Game's a lot harder. They revamped how like a lot of the combat and everything. Revamped how skills, like the skill system and everything works. So kind of going into it, I'm going into it mostly blind. I've stayed away from most information, and I'm kind of just going into it, and I'm like, I'll figure it out. It's like, I'll figure it out. I'll make my first couple characters, and then after that, maybe look and see what people have been doing.
Right.
So yeah, I've been playing through it. I'm currently in like Act 2. I'm playing a mercenary, and it hadn't been too bad until I don't know exactly how far into Act 2 I am, like level 21 or so, and I feels like I just hit a wall. So I got some grinding.
Yeah, it's grind time, huh?
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Mercenary.
Okay.
So Path of Exile 1 had 6 classes, and each class had 3 ascendancies to choose from. Path of Exile 2, I think we have access to 6 or 8 maybe classes, and then 2 of the ascendancies for them, which is basically the subclass.
Yeah. So two per, right?
Yeah, 2 per. When it goes into 1.0, there will be 12 classes, each with 3.
12 classes. Ooh, that's spicy. Do we know the classes yet, or
yeah? I think we know most.
What's
of
out
them.
now?
What's out now? We have warrior, mercenary, witch, sorcerer, and we have ranger, and I'm blanking in there. But yeah, it's like there's at least those.
Yeah, okay. So at least 5. Another one probably. So
there's another 6. One I'm just blanking on.
So going up to 12.
It's monk.
Monk. Okay, so there's your 6, and we're going up to 12. Dang. Okay.
Yeah, and in there it'll be like, I think, I don't know what all they are in there, but yeah, there's there will be more classes there, and then we'll have the 3rd ascendancy when the game officially launches.
Right. So let me ask you a question, because I understand like games like these, like this answer, it may just be a no, and I totally understand why, obviously. But like with this game coming out, like the early access, and like just how much they're adding to it, how much they're improving, but also how different it is this one of those like kind of sequels to like a cult following game where it's like you're kind of done with the first game and this is only thing that people are mostly gonna be playing, or is that kind of still too early to tell?
It's very much too early to tell right now.
Okay.
Because I don't know how the game feels in game.
That's fair. That'll probably determine a lot then.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how it feels at end game, because right now, like Path of Exile 2 is slower is not the right word, but it's the only thing coming to my head right now. Where like Path of Exile 1, like everything is about speed. It's about attacking faster, running faster, clearing faster, killing faster to get to the next map faster.
Right.
So far, Path of Exile 2, I'm plodding my way along, and I feel like I'm going about as fast as I can go through an area.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time.
Okay.
Everything is like essentially like everything is kind of more dangerous. Like even a lot of the boss fights, the bosses or at least the ones I've come across so far, everything is like pretty much everything is telegraphed like pretty heavily, and it's pretty much because if you get hit by it, you may not be dead on the like one shot, but if you get hit one or like 1 to 3 times, you're probably gone.
Right.
So it's like everything feels more of a threat, which is honestly kind of nice, because Path of Exile 1, the game was, at least leveling was pretty much solved. So you just fly through it as fast as possible, get to the end game.
Yeah.
And there's probably like we'll get there in Path of Exile 2. It's just right now nothing's solved. Everything's being learned, which is fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like trying to understand what skills are good, what ones feel good, what supports to use on certain skills, and that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been rotating. I've been unlocking and kind of trying out pretty much everything I have access to, which is fun because normally you just like I said, Path of Exile 1, it's like you got your plan, you know how you're doing. If you're playing a bow build, you know exactly what you're doing. You're playing a spell build, you know exactly how you're doing.
Right.
It's like it's step by step planned out. I feel like I'm changing what skills I'm using, how I'm going about it, like every 15, 20 minutes, which is nice. I haven't had that in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of it is to do with like they revamped how the skill system works, where like how you go about getting support gems and the normal spell gems and that. One of the biggest changes in Path of Exile 2 is in Path of Exile, you could have a support gem say like faster attacks. You could put that on any number of skills that you wanted to. So if you had like 3 different attacks, you could put that gem in every single one of them. In Path of Exile 2, you can only have 1 copy of each support gem in any of your link setups. So you have to pick and choose where they go.
Yeah, a little bit more strategy goes into it.
A little bit more thought has to go into like which one goes where, which skill do I actually need to do the damage, which one. It's kind of redefining which skills are utility skills versus DPS skills.
Yeah, I mean, from a challenge perspective, that's a good thing. Like I feel like that's an improvement in the challenge department. To have a little bit more strategy into it instead of going just me simple brain and just like, oh, that works.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of it. Is right now nobody knows. Everybody who's playing is kind of learning it at the same time.
Now, since it's early access, how much content's in the game? Because is it like a Baldur's Gate 3 early access situation where it's only like Baldur's Gate 3 was only Act 1 for the longest time, right?
So the way the early access works is when the game officially launches, I think it's going to be, I don't remember if they said 6 or 8 acts,
Okay.
which is like for you played through like Diablo campaign, it's like when you go from like Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3 and stuff like that. Same thing. It's basically you play through here and then you go to the new zone, difficulty ramps up. They made the first 3 and then they stopped making the campaign and they went and made the end game. So the way the early access works is you play through the first 3 acts twice. So you play through it and then you go to what they call cruel difficulty, which then just scales it up. So you're essentially going through the same areas, just at a higher level.
Okay.
So then you go through that, and then you get into the end game.
So
and then they stopped making the campaign to try to fully flesh out the end game.
Okay. So, man, by the time the game comes out, you got at least 3, if not 5 more acts to kind of new content to go through. So that's nice.
Yeah. And then, cause the end game system is different now because it used to be you drop an item called a map, and you would craft and then run the map, and then you would progressively go through higher and higher tiers to get to the end game bosses and that.
Yep.
I guess the way it works now is it's kind of an endless kind of map where you just progress along it. I haven't really looked at it because I'm not there yet. But yeah, it's supposed to be a different take on how they did it before. So it'll be exciting to actually get there and start trying it out.
Nice.
But yeah, a lot of the systems are just a little different than what you're used to.
Right.
Like I was in a call with one of my buddies playing yesterday. I was like, man, it's these little things that are just throwing me off. I'm like, I'm not used to this. But I've kind of gotten gotten used to the play style of my character now, so it's starting to make some sense.
Right.
But yeah, really looking forward to continue playing it. I'll be playing it a lot because
That's gonna be his game for the moment.
I think they've said that they expect the early access to go at a minimum of 6 months.
Okay.
So, because it's like they want to, because like the game director is very open. He's been on countless community podcasts in the last couple of weeks, answering questions and kind of just being very open about everything. And I think one of the things he said is, we can test as much as we want here, but we're not going to be able to test every combination, everything. He's like, you guys find all the, like, everything that's broken. You guys find everything that's powerful.
Right.
So we'll be able to figure out how this actually works once you guys get into it.
Yeah, we'll all kind of figure it out together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, you got to love it when the dev team's like that, you know, because it's kind of same thing with that other game that you love so much, Dark and Darker. You know, just so involved with everything. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's been going on with that lately. Like, haven't kept up with it as much. I was thinking about it like recently. Actually.
Yeah, so was I. I was thinking about, man, I haven't heard him talk about Dark and Darker in a hot minute.
Yeah. But yeah, Path of Exile 2 early access just getting into it. It's gonna be, we're gonna be spending the next 6 months learning.
6 months learning. Now, okay, 6 months of early access, and then is the game gonna immediately drop, or is it gonna get pulled down and kind of refine and then drop? They don't know yet.
Well, so they're gonna be updating this as they go with changes, patches, and stuff.
Okay.
They said I think they said if they do something, if they do large scale changes, they may, or if they do large enough scale changes, they may end up giving like character respecs in that, because they used to do that in the first game. But yeah, it depends on what they actually change, or like how big the patches are.
Right.
But once the game does launch, they'll probably just roll into it. But all the early access will go into its own kind of like sectioned off league, where I think that stuff will still be there, but the actual live realm will be different.
Okay. All right.
So like all the early access stuff will be archived.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that the early access have been popping off. I saw where earlier today it had 500K concurrent Steam players on day 2 of early. That's crazy. 500 concurrent. That's crazy.
Yesterday was when it launched, and like I said, there were server problems. It took them probably 4-ish hours from the time it was supposed to launch to get it kind of stabilized where people could actually play.
Yeah.
And I looked yesterday. The supporter pack on Steam was hit with mostly negative reviews, because if you purchased the key through Steam, you had to activate it on your Path of Exile account.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like you had to make sure that it was activated correctly and showed your account had the access to it. But because of all the traffic, the website was down.
Oof.
And they were focusing on getting the game up and running. So even after the game was up and running, the website was still down until about 7:30 last night. So people who bought it couldn't actually access it because the Steam key couldn't connect with their account because the server was down.
Mm-hmm.
So it was. Hopefully those review numbers change. I haven't looked at them today. Hopefully they kind of
bounce back out,
because it was a lot of just initial anger at not being able to immediately play.
Don't you just love that knee-jerk reaction of just review bombing? They're quick to fire from the hip.
I saw one great comment. I think it was on the Reddit, where like people were kind of complaining about it, and just one dude was upvoted like crazy. He's like, come on guys, it's been 10 years. You do not take off for League launch for Path of Exile. There is always problems. There has always been problems on the day the game or a new league or something launches. He's like, it's always broken. We know this is how it is. Why are you guys treating this one different? It's just you're more excited about this.
Yeah,
one.
you're more excited because it's Path 2.
Yeah.
You know, that's a funny and fair way to look at it. It's like you knew this was coming.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like if you didn't expect it, I don't know what's wrong with you.
right?
Wait, it's been a decade of this.
Right. It's like, come on, get your shit together. What are we doing? Oh, geez. Well, anyway, I'll be looking forward to hearing more about Path 2 and just the continued success of it.
This will probably be like, you know, like my every live service I ever get into section of the podcast.
Yes, yeah.
Will just be.
We've
like,
been through a lot. We need to make like a little list of all the ones that we've gone through. Remember the Lost Ark era? That was an era. Yeah, shut that.
This will Path will probably become that during early access. Where it's like every now and then I just come in. I'm like, by the way, here's our Path of Exile segment.
Yeah, because that's how it was with Lost Ark for a while, where it's like, so here's my weekly Lost Ark update. Had a lot. We've had a lot of time where it's the section of the show at some point, whether it's at the end or whatever. It's like, all right, live service John time.
Yep. But yeah, this is one I've been waiting on for 5 years.
And that's fair. It has been a hot minute.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 5 years ago that they announced Path 2.
Right.
And it's finally out in early access.
Yeah, no, I feel you, because it's like one thing I meant to say earlier with like Marvel Rivals is that, you know, obviously, as I've talked about on the show, I'm not a big multiplayer guy anymore, but I'll tell you this is going to be my multiplayer game. Because, you know, even now, I will still randomly hop on and play some of the most random games for multiplayer games, like to get my itch. Like a great example, let's throw it back like 2 years here. A game that just popped off and blew up on the world. Once on a blue moon, if I get that itch to play a multiplayer game, just because it's installed, it's whatever. It takes me 5 minutes to play a game and I'm done and I can move on. You know, I'll randomly hop on and play around to Fall Guys on the Xbox. It's like, okay, it's quick, whatever. Just knock it out real fast. Just kill 5 minutes of my day. Marvel Rivals is going to kind of be that game for me where it's like, yeah, well, you know, right now I'm playing Dragon Age. You know, I got Metaphor going on. I just finished my Mass Effect Trilogy, 747th playthrough. Yeah, if I want to play a little multiplayer, let me hop on Marvel Rivals for a little bit. That, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to play this game until all end of the earth, whatever, like I did Overwatch 1 back in the day. Yeah, but I'm still going to put some time into it. You know, it's just going to be nice to hop on there, play a quick match, and move on with my day.
I got one of those right now.
Yeah, which one is it for you?
Me and my buddies have been playing Supervive.
Okay, Supervive. I have heard of that.
It's
don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
It came out recently as a free-to-play game on Steam. Mm-hmm. It popped off during Steam Next Fest. It is a team-based or like a squad-based hero BR top-down perspective, kind of like battle right combat. You may not understand that, but people tend to understand what you mean when you say battle right combat. Battle right was just okay. Another top-down like what would you, I can't think of the word for it, but the combat is something that people loved about that game, and so when games come out and kind of emulate that style, at least a lot of people I know, that's how we refer to games like that now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a BR. It's an interesting one because you can play in duo or squad of 4, and you drop down and there's camps of like minions around that you have to kill to level up, to level up your abilities. And it has, like, when the game starts, it's daytime, and then I still don't know the timings for this. I think it's like 3 minutes or something. You've like 3 minutes of daytime, then it goes to nighttime, and then when the sun comes back up, the level cap increases. So the level cap at the start of the game is 4, and obviously you get your ult to level 5. So, and there's ways you can get your ult early and stuff like that, and it go past the level cap. But yeah, it's one where, like you were saying earlier, where you had trouble. You've been having trouble finding your character on
on Rivals. Yeah.
I had the same issue on Supervive for a while. I played it for it took me like 4 sessions before I was like, I think I'm just gonna play this character. Now I've got a couple that I enjoy. I don't know if it's because I actually enjoy them or I've just played them enough.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's kind of where I'm at because like there's characters that in the practice range, getting to the practice range, I was immediately able to hop onto a character, go through their skills, and immediately say, this one's not for me. Like, I just know. But then there's those few where it's like, I think this one can be for me, but then when I've gotten into a game with them, it's like, maybe it's just a bad game, didn't work out, whatever, I just need to play it more. But there's still some I haven't got a chance to actually try more. Because, like, one that I would like to try outside of practice is Magic. I would like to try her. She seems pretty fun, just haven't got a chance to actually use her yet. Wolverine is one I'd like to play for longer than 3 minutes. That's all I've got to do so far. I would like to play him, but usually, like I said, when we get in there, I'm a team player, so it's like we get in there and we have 3 damage. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess we gotta play Cap. Continue to hone my Cap because it's the one thing I have found so far that I can play. So I'll just be tank. I'll hone my Cap. We'll be okay. But yeah, I'm definitely in that stage right now of just the feeling out process,
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's kind of been my game is just been like, well, now I'm playing Path of Exile, but I will, like, when the boys hit me up and they want to play, like if they're hopping on and want to play Super Vive, I'm like, yeah, I'll hop in, I'll play for a little bit.
Yeah, just kind of kill some time. I get that. I've definitely got my kill time games. TFT is usually one that usually falls into that slot too. Haven't touched it in a while, but when I get that itch, it's usually my kill time. Go into a round of whatever the quicker game, hyper roll. Thank you. I'll go into some hyper roll, kill some time while I'm eating, like maybe eating dinner, eating lunch or something. It's like, yeah, that's usually one of my kill times is some TFT.
I thought about getting into this TFT set, but then
I have not looked at the set. I need to take a look at it.
I was debating about getting into it, and it came out, and like I was watching some stuff on it, and that, and I was like, man, this would probably be a set I might be able to get into. It became one of those things, like the closer it got to the set releasing, I was like, I don't think I have the interest for it right now.
Plus, in your case, you have to re-download League, right?
I just play it on mobile.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, because I know last time you and I talked about maybe playing some TFT together, like 4 months ago, whatever. You came back the week after. It's like, you asked that, and I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I went home and I realized, it means I have to re-download League. I'm not doing that. Well, they need to release it its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, they should.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have their reasoning.
Yeah, and I understand. Yeah.
Keeping it in the launcher, it's like it pulls people both directions.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I might go update some TFT. I might try to play that this weekend. I might take a look at the new set. I haven't checked it out, so I might do that. I might go check out some TFT. We'll see, as well as some Marvel Rivals. And still playing Dragon Age, though. Finally got back to Dragon Age after my detour that did not need to happen of Mass Effect. So I'm finally back into Dragon Age because I know you got ahead of me from whenever you were playing, and I'm assuming stopped playing at this point.
Yeah, I was actually, like, 2 days ago, I was sitting there, I was like, man, I do need to actually sit down and keep playing that.
Yeah.
Because it's like I stopped playing it, but it wasn't because of it. I kind of stopped playing most everything.
Right.
And I've just been, like, not playing that much games.
I get that.
Now I'm obviously back into playing some games.
I feel that.
So it'll probably be one that I hop back on.
Where did you get to? Did you?
I have
did you
no idea
recruit
right now?
Did you recruit all the companions?
Maybe.
Or did you? Because I know last time we chat, I know you got like Emmerich, and then you got the Grey Warden guy, right?
Yeah.
Did you get the?
I think I have all the companions.
Okay, so you're probably at the point where I was at, where I just finished earlier, where I finished doing the Grey Warden keep mission. That mission was sick. Really enjoyed that mission. And now once that mission is done, now I'm at a point of, it's kind of like that point after the Horizon mission on Mass Effect 2, where it's just like, all right, time to go take care of everyone's problems. And I'm like, okay, cool. I like this part of the game. It's like, let's go take care of a lot of problems that need to be addressed.
Oh yeah, that I think I know what you're talking about, because it's when you go back to your base and everyone wants to talk to you.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
we're playing side quests now.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I had 3 of the characters ready to chat. I had Nev, Darvin, and Lucanus are ready. And then I know like Belair, she mentioned something that she wants to take care of, but hers isn't prompted yet. Same thing with Emmerich. He kind of mentioned something too, but it's not prompted yet. So that's kind of where we are. So I like that part. I love doing like loyalty missions on Mass Effect and stuff. That's great. It's fun. So that's the point we're at. I'm having fun. I did go to Metaphor first after beating Mass Effect, and I tried to get a little bit further in Metaphor. And it's like the story is so good, and like I love I love Luis. I love he has as the antagonist, great antagonist. But I don't know. I guess it's because I just finished going through all 3 Mass Effect games in succession. I'm just like in that BioWare mood where Metaphor wasn't clicking for me, So I went back to Dragon Age instead, and this has been clicking for me aggressively, and I'm having a blast. But Metaphor, it's like the story was clicking for me. The story was working. I was enjoying myself there, especially with where I got in the story. But it's like just the gameplay was not doing it for me. It just was not. And I'm just like, all right, off to Dragon Age then. That's where we are at the moment. It's just one of those things when you get in those certain moods. You know what I mean? All right, let me shout out one of our sponsors. Shout out Rogue Energy. Use promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off your order. Use the referral link down below. If they have a better sale going on, that's fine. Just use the referral link. You're still going to help out the brand. But if you want to use the code, we would appreciate that with promo code Sparky3 for 10% off, whether it's the Hydration Chill or the Energy line. We'd appreciate that support. So one little side note. I got it. I got the 30th anniversary controller. Did not mention this in the show. Totally forgot. You could have 100% broke my heart that one day and reminded me, which I'm kind of glad you didn't, but you could have. So I did mention on the show that I did get a pre-order, and this is actually not my original pre-order. My pre-order got canceled. Forgot to mention that on the show. Shout out to that. I pre-ordered with Walmart, and I got a little notification, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, that my pre-order had been canceled. So that was devastating. And at that point, I gave up. Whatever. I'm not getting that controller then. It's not happening. The only reason I have this is by sheer luck of timing of where I was taking a break at work, hop on Twitter. Literally, as I hop on Twitter, shout out to Wario64, posted that the controller was available on Amazon. And it was one of those things where it's like, all right, well, when was this posted? Was it posted 54 minutes ago? Because it's going to be sold out 23 seconds. And I'm like, let's click this link. Let's test the waters. I was able to get it, and it shipped literally the next day. I haven't actually opened it yet. I have not decided if I'm going to. Should I open it?
I have one of my controllers still in the box.
I have not decided. We are still sealed here on the back. I have not opened this thing yet.
Yeah. My Final Fantasy one's still in the box.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll open it. We're gonna open it. We're gonna open it. Probably mess it up a little bit. The seal has now been messed up, so we're committed. The seal is no longer perfect, so we are committed and we are opening it. I'm gonna try not to tear up the box while opening, getting this little seal thing off, but it's already done. We're committed. The seal is coming off. It is no longer a perfect box, so it is what it is. My value went down on this if I ever decide to sell it, which I don't know if I will, because I went through quite the headache to even get this controller, but. All right, we're getting the seal off. Here we go. We're almost there. Almost there. Come on. Work with me here. Work with me here. Yeah. For my poor audio listeners, I'm so sorry. This is not entertaining at all, but hopefully you've been having a great day, and hopefully you've enjoyed the content so far, and you should definitely follow the show, and we'd appreciate that. And check out the other shows like A Terrible Football Show and A Terrible Wrestling Show. We just had another episode of Terrible Wrestling Show come out recently. So shout out to that. You should go listen to it. We'd really appreciate that support.
You can open that box later, right?
Do what?
It's taking you a while to get in there.
I mean, we're working on it. I'm trying not to rip the box up. That's kind of the
Tear some bitch up.
I don't want to tear. See, here we go. Well, here we go. We're opening it. It's got a nice little graphic on the inside of the box there. That's neat with all the different PlayStation accessories. So that's cool. On the box on the inside, it does have the PlayStation symbols with the 30 in there. You'd have to really zoom in on that. So shout out to the 30th anniversary there. Let's bust this thing out. Let's see how this bad boy looks. Make sure I didn't get shafted and we just have a basic white controller in here. That'd be funny. All right, here we go. Ooh, that is a beautiful controller, legitimately. Oh man, that looks so good. That is a beautiful controller, top to bottom. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, I will say I'm still not like this is one that like you were much more interested in than I was. I would have only liked the controller for the fact that it's the kind of the limited edition like part of it.
Right.
It does look like way better in person than any of the pictures. Than any of the pictures make it out to be.
So definitely cannot show it on stream, but the gripping of the controller is the symbols with the 30 in it. Like on the handles, like you feel the grip. Like all that grip is the symbols. The symbols are on there, and it does have the 30th on there. So that's pretty cool.
I mean, that feels better than most controllers.
Yeah, no, it's
an odd thing to say.
Yeah, very premium.
But yeah, no, it is nicer in person than the pictures, which a lot of times doesn't end up being the case.
Right.
A lot of times the pictures like do it better justice than it actually ends up, or it makes it look better.
Yeah.
This is one of the few times I would say the in person it looks better, because I wasn't impressed with any of the pictures of it, like on any of the websites.
Okay, so I guess that's right. Okay, so I guess the controller does not come with the cool PlayStation 1 adapter, so that's unfortunate. Really wanted that. I guess that, now that I think about it, I think that was sold separately.
Yeah,
that sucks, because I really wanted that. That was sick. So yeah, I will say no clue if this is ever going to get used. It is opened, so that is what it is. You know, I did want to be able to actually see it, and also I guess see if I didn't get scammed. I'm a little jaded after what happened last time with my pre-order getting canceled. But don't know if I'll ever use this. I will say that this one might be a permanent no use. Unfortunately, my Spider-Man controller has got freaking stick drift, so that's great. Shout out to John for letting me borrow a black one for the time being. But I do plan to buy that teal controller that's coming out next month, and that'll hopefully be my new permanent controller going forward.
Yeah,
until that gets messed up.
I just recently, because I got a 3 controller rotation that I use.
Right.
I just took out my basic white PS5 controller that came with my console, and replaced it in the rotation with my Fortnite controller.
With the dang Fortnite controller.
That's a tale of two controllers.
It really is. And ironically enough, that is also a controller that actually does look better in person than pictures.
It looks fucking stupid.
It looks so stupid, but it looks better.
It's so bad.
It is so bad. But I do like the approach about it, because my wife was the one that pointed out where it looks like kids drew on it. I'm just like, okay, that's fair. That's kind of cute. But it does look terrible. The fact that it's in your, I guess it makes sense that it'd be in your primary rotation, because it's one you don't really give a shit about, so it's one that you can beat up.
Well, yeah. Well, it's, for the most part, most of the controllers I get, I want to be able to use. There's a couple that I'm not using, the Sea of Thieves Xbox controller is not in my rotation of controllers I use. My Final Fantasy PS5 controller is still in the box.
Right.
But for the most part, when I buy controllers, I want to be okay with using them.
Right.
That's like my PS5 controllers that I use are my God of War, my Spider-Man, and now my Fortnite controller. Mm-hmm. Which I really liked all the designs except the Fortnite one. I just thought it was silly.
Yeah, that's why you want to buy it.
You mentioned it as an offhand comment, how you saw a stupid controller,
and you're just like, let me check that out.
Then you sent it to me later, and you're like, look at this stupid shit, and I just bet you back, I bought it.
That's the most John level thing too. Just like, oh, it looks stupid. Yeah, I'll buy
it. I literally looked at the picture of it. Oh, that looks fucking terrible. I want it.
I get that though. There's definitely some things that I've come across where it's like, that looks so bad, I have to have it.
It's one of those as well where there's been plenty of controllers, like special edition controllers I've looked at before, and I've had that thought of I kind of want that, but I don't know if I don't know if I want to spend the money on it.
Right.
And then you wait, and then it goes away. It's like, oh, I can't actually buy that anymore because it was a special edition.
Yeah.
Premium example, the Master Chief Elite. I had that one. That one.
Does it haunt you?
That one hurts.
Yeah. No.
That was in my cart.
Yep. I feel you. That is one that I really have high on my list. Another one that honestly kind of haunts me, you know, even though it's all good now. So before I bought my Series X, I actually had the Halo Series X in my cart ready to purchase, and I did not do it. And I kind of regret that. I wish I would have bought that freaking thing. You know, especially since my first 360 was the Halo console and it immediately red ringed and I could not have it. So it's like, it was like, even though obviously very vastly different designs, it's still that like nostalgic thing of like, I want a Halo console to have it for myself, whatever. Yeah, no, the same. I don't think I ever had the Elite in my cart, but I definitely looked at it where it's like I could have, and I regret not doing it because that thing's expensive now. Bro, I'm gonna look it up right now. How much is that dang thing?
Last time I looked at it, it was $550.
John, that's what? Oh my god! All right, so Xbox Elite Halo. All right, so we're talking about the one that's green, right?
Yeah, the Master Chief Edition.
All right, so I'm seeing some prices that aren't terrible. Here's one on Mercari for $237. That's, $37 over MSRP. So that's not bad. It's not bad. So I don't know. It might be tempting for you, John, to pull the trigger. Nope. Yeah, nope.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
No, it's one where it's like you can buy it from. There's a few places
Hell,
where
I'm tempted.
There's a few places where it pops up fairly cheap every now and then, but I don't know.
This is in two people's carts right now. I can go affirm this right now. I can affirm this right now.
Do it.
I might. We'll see we'll see where the night takes me. I have been wanting a new Elite, so we'll see where the night takes me. But anyway, you got anything that you want to chat about? Anything that any side tangents that you want to go on? Any shout outs that you want to give? Anything of the sort?
Oh.
Ooh. Dun, 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 dun.
Not really.
Not really. All right. Well, we can head to the next topic, which is also kind of like in weekly wrap up territory. All right. So next thing, going back to Old Trusty. We've talked about this before. It's actually one of our most popular videos on the channel. So shout out to that. One of our most popular clips in terms of views. So shout out to that. And that is the gaming industry truly is burning down. It just continues to burn. And I don't see what could put the gaming industry from not burning. You know what I mean? Just layoffs continue to happen. Content gets canceled. Studios gets closed. Whatever, right? And there are certain things that, like some of the stuff I'll shout out where it's like, I'm going to shout it out and it's just like, it sucks. Yeah, obviously, T's and P's to the devs. Hopefully they land new jobs, whatever. But there's some of these that, we saw that coming, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, let's not bullshit on that. So some examples, right? Here's an example of one. It's like, could have seen that coming. X-Defiant. X-Defiant is shutting down in June 2025. Saw that coming. Let's be honest.
Well, we pretty much had that nailed since the game came out.
Yeah, when Zach played it, Zach pretty much nailed that one where it's like, this is flavor of the month is what it is. And that's 100% what it was. So with that, though, Ubisoft San Francisco and Ubisoft Osaka have both closed. So the Sydney team is ramping down. Up to 177 people have been laid off. Half of the X-Defiant team has moved over to other projects. Apparently, Ubisoft hoped that it would compete with COD. That's just like they hoped Prince of Persia was going to have Metroid Dread level sales numbers. Like,
I mean,
or Ubisoft. Sorry, I'm pronouncing the name wrong again.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna. We've known for years that they've been delusional.
Yeah,
and with what they expect, like from their games.
Like, and the sales expectations for Prince of Persia and X-Defiant kind of prove that to an extreme degree. And and it's super sad about the Prince of Persia one because like that was like a great game, but it's like, look, I'm a Prince of Persia believer, but you can't. baby, you can't expect that to be like a Metroid level seller. Like, what are we doing?
It's a thing of like, for the most part, to like they want to make a Prince of Persia game, so it's like they talk up what they can do with it and how much sales they'll get with it, and it's like you overpromise. It's like, yeah, you made a great game, but you overpromised. You're bored.
Yep.
It's like, doesn't matter if you make a great game if you tell them that you're gonna do 4 times the sales that you did.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's kind of just Ubisoft in a nutshell right now. Some other things that we had that just came out like this week is Deck 9 Games, which is currently heading Life is Strange. They're facing layoffs, which that sucks. So Double Exposure comes out. To my understanding, really good reception. Haven't played it yet. Very excited to play it and hopefully play it soon. So that sucks. Hate to see that.
Yeah, that one. That one does suck.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is, everybody loves the games they put out.
Yeah, all of them
Like,
are great.
all of their games are great. I think the only problem is that style of game is kind of fallen out of fashion, or like it's fallen out of favor with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's got the community that loves it still and is really excited about it, but it's not necessarily drawing people in. This one might draw people back in because it's got Max back.
Yeah, right. Original
It's
prototype.
gonna bring me back into the series.
Yeah. Because I mean,
And it's like, I love the series. I haven't played all the games. I think I've played parts of. I think I've at least started and played the beginning of all, but I think one of them.
what, True Colors probably?
Probably True Color, just because it came out in a period where I was drowning with games.
Yeah, yeah. True Colors is good. Really enjoy that one.
It's on the list to play, but it's one where it's like I need to go back and hit them all
Right.
before where I want to go back and hit them all.
Yeah.
Just as like that might be something I try to do on a weekend one day.
Yeah. I still haven't played 2, so I feel you. I've played 1, I've played Before the Storm, and I've played True Colors. I've never played 2. So I still need to go play
I think
2.
I've played half of 2.
Yeah, so I still need to play 2, and then I'm excited for double exposure. So, I mean, that sucks to see the layoffs there. Another cancellation of one that's, all right, not surprising, is Foam Stars updates will end January 17th. That is like the Splatoon lookalike that I've had
Lasted
someone...
longer than I thought it would.
It did, yeah. This is published by Square, and it's the Splatoon lookalike, where someone argued with me one time that it's totally not a Splatoon lookalike. I'm like, are we talking about the same game? Because it is. Like, I don't know how it's not. That's the inspiration. It's clear.
It's probably because it's not the same art style.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
But yeah, no, it is. It was Square Enix going, we can make a Splatoon.
Basically. There's a rumor that the next planned Mortal Kombat 1 DLC is canceled, apparently due to poor sales.
I could see it.
Yeah, and then the studio closure that took place was from Casey Hudson, the former BioWare lead who led the Mass Effect trilogy. In 2021, he opened a new studio, Humanoid Origin, with a new sci-fi IP that they began working on with a lot of veteran devs and stuff like that. And studio closed due to funding issues. So it's like, I mentioned that to my wife, and even she's just like, it's crazy to me that you can have a name like his, who heralded one of like the greatest trilogies, like narrative trilogies to ever come out, and like he can't even get enough funding for a new title. And I'm just like, I kind of agree. That's kind of wild to think about. It's just like the gaming industry right now is in such a weird, fragile state. And it's like some people like Phil Spencer claim that it's fine. And I'm just like, it's not though.
Well, I want to make I want to pose something to you.
Okay.
Is it that the gaming industry is in the weird point right now, or that the Western gaming?
Ooh. Now that's a good question because
partner studios that are overseas,
yeah,
like Eastern, they're affected by, or it's like they may close due to an overall studio closing, but we don't hear as much about like Eastern studios closing.
yeah,
It's like they try to do anything they can to avoid it. But then we hear about thousands of layoffs from Western studios. It's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of layoffs and studio closures due to not being able to keep up. And it's like, well, I guess the question is, do you really need 700 people to make that game?
Man, you actually pose a really good question on this, because it kind of my first line of thinking is the stuff where it's like the FromSoft lead. We talked about him not long ago, where he said as long as he's leading the company, as long as he's leading it, no one's gonna get laid off. Because he even shout out,
we've had many stories like that over the past year or so.
Because like he even shout out the former Nintendo president, rest in peace, who cut his own salary during the Wii U era to make sure no one got laid off, because that was obviously a very tough period for Nintendo. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a great line of thinking. It's like you got these CEOs and these heads cutting their own pay to make sure their team stays together, versus over here in the West, it's just like, well, this failed. You're out. Bye. The studio closed. Bye.
Because it's like because you hear, it's like you hear studios and the people talking all the time, like from some of these Western big companies that are like, well, it's hard to, like, especially Concord. It's like trying to come up with a new IP. It's like they're just trying to make sequels or expand upon universes and stuff, and afraid to make a new IP or something like that. But then we see a studio like Game Science, just spend 4 years in the trenches and then release a Game of the Year contender. It's like it's not. It's you have to give them the time to let them cook and actually be focused on making the game and not all the bullshit around it.
Right.
Because it's like,
that's where Concord failed, because Concord was really meant to be like this bigger universe.
It was supposed to be their new, like Sony's new headline IP. But it's like, instead of making a good game, they tried to make a universe. Where it's like, yeah, okay, well, you want to know why you failed? You didn't focus on a game. It's like you made a mediocre game, and then you wonder why nobody played it.
Right.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to pose that question, because
it's a great question.
Most of the time we hear layoffs, it's from U.S. or European,
right?
Like development studios.
Yeah, and I feel like even the few times we've heard of anything over in, the East, I feel like it's been a West forced closure, because there was
it's usually a partnered studio.
Yeah, because like a great example is I think the studio was literally just labeled as like Sony Tokyo closed, but it was because of Sony over here in the West, I'm pretty sure, which I think they just kind of, the Sony Tokyo team has kind of got brought back together as Team Asobi, who have obviously now created like a Game of the Year contender with Astrobot. But yeah, like even the few cases that we've seen, it's like it's kind of like a partnered thing kind of deal. But something that we've talked about a lot before, I think one of the biggest issues with the gaming industry now is just, not only is it kind of like what you said, where it's like not focusing on creating a good game, but it's also like everyone's just trying to do the next big AAA, quadruple A project.
Well,
shout out to Skull and Bones, versus just making good games
necessarily,
because the budget's is killing them.
The problem is, like, for like U.S. and European studios, they have there's so many people that they have to get approval from. There's so many people in the company that you have to go up the ladder with. It's like you have a studio with 1,000 people working from it to make one game, and it's like there's so much that has to happen there. It's like it leaves so much room for miscommunication, for problems to arise. Like, you can't keep track of that many people working on like any single project. But it's also like it's like a lot of. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think the U.S. development mindset is more about, we need to make a game that's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like we have to make the game to make the money. How do we make them? But then they get stuck on that. How do we make the money? It's like, well, it's like, yes, I understand you need the game to sell well, but you can't keep pumping out 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 games where, yeah, you'll find a small audience, but you can't keep pumping those out and then go, why don't people like our games? Then you look at Sony Santa Monica.
Yep.
It's like they knock shit out of the park. Look at it's like some of these studios, they just sit and cook for 4 years, and then every time they release something, they're nominated for Game of the Year.
Yep.
It's like it happens every now and then where you do get these. We do have some of these around where it's like, yeah, it's like we know what we're gonna make, and it's like we know what we're gonna do. Just it's like you hand us the money and we'll hand you an award.
Yeah, basically.
But it's like we only have a handful of those.
Yeah.
Like around where it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, you want this project? Here you go. Just do it. We know you're gonna do it. It's like we don't. There's only a few established studios like that.
Yeah, that can, once you see their name is on the project, you really don't have a worry.
Yeah,
I guess one way
you
to
see the
put
name
it.
and you go, okay, we're good.
Yeah. There's only a handful in today's, industry where it's like the moment you see that name, you know that it's going to be fine.
You see it and you go, I'll see you in 4 years.
Yep. It's like, all right, it'll be fine. It's going to be great. See you in 4 to 5 years. Can't wait.
It's like we'll have that 1 year where we see like 4 games get announced from 4 different studios where you go, man, 2030 is going to be a fucking banger.
2030 is going to be a banger. What's sad is you're not wrong, man. We're about to hit 2025. You're not wrong.
I know it's going to be one of those where it's like 2026 or something. We're going to see a showcase come out and we're just going to go, 2020 or 2030 is going to be a banger.
So yeah, imagine that Gamesthetic episode was just like, 2026 episode. It's just like, oh man, 2023 game of the year, whatever, because it's kind of like whatever 6th episode of Gamesthetic, it's like Black Myth Wukong, future game of the year. That was back in 2020. And here we are now. And it's nominated for game of the year. What a journey. But no, you're right. But no, that is some good questions. That is some good conversation because it is a lot of Western stuff. I think everyone can kind of agree to that. I definitely think it's kind of like that Western mindset of we just got to make money. But it's like, how do we make money? And it's kind of we just go about the wrong way about it. And I think there is a budget issue too because it's like Sean Layden. We've talked about this before, former Sony head, where he's talked about it's just like the budgets are just getting too big. It's just not sustainable. And it's like there for certain games, I agree. And Concord's a good example of it.
Well, that's part of why I bring up like you'll have a game like Concord. It's like they'll have a studio of 700-800 people working on that game. It's like, well, yeah, the budget for that game is going to be astronomical.
You have such a huge team.
It's like you have that huge team working on it. It's like you got to pay all those people. You got to pay for everything to be done on it. It's like, yeah, you're gonna blow through that money in no time.
Yep.
But I mean, that's why I kind of like. I've also loved to see like the end of 2023 and 2024 also be the year, like some of the breakout years for like indie devs.
Right.
It's like there's something great about, or there's something I love about like these big companies realizing, man, it's like that $400 million for that game was a bit too expensive. Meanwhile, you have like the team of 5 indie devs be like, man, I can't believe we actually released this game and look at all the success we have on it. It's like that dichotomy is just something great to see. Because it's like, yeah, it goes to show, it's like, yeah, your budget where you're trying to make a photorealistic, like we don't always need the 4K. We don't need the ray tracing. We don't need to see graphics that look as real as you can make them. Sometimes we just want to go on a little 2D adventure. It's all we need sometimes. Yeah, we love the big games. We like the big realistic looking like adventures and stuff like that. We don't always need them. It's like that doesn't have to be your aim for every game you release.
True. I agree. There was actually like a 2D game I came across recently. I'm pulling it up now because it's saved on Amazon. That kind of caught my eye. That looked pretty neat. See if you've heard of it. It's on Steam. Have you heard of A Space for the Unbound?
I think I've seen the name.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you definitely would have seen the name because it got nominated for Games of Impact at the Game Awards. I think it was last year. So we've at least shout the name out before. But no, just like they have their physical edition finally coming out. It's been on PC. The box caught my eye. Looked cool. Collector's edition, whatever. It's kind of the same thing with like that Loop 8 Summer of Gods. Game is terrible. Like the gameplay is terrible. The concept's so fast, and that game could have been so great. I still bought the collector's edition because it just looked cool, whatever. It's kind of like this, but yeah, I mean, this is just like a little 2D adventure, with like a 90s retro sort of vibe to it. The game takes place in the 90s and everything. So, it's like sometimes you just need like a 2D adventure like this. It just looks cool, looks nice. It doesn't all have to be all like glitz and glamour, like you're saying. So,
yeah.
So I do want to buy that though. I want to buy that. Even though I don't know anything about the game besides the general synopsis, and apparently the reviews are pretty solid on Steam. That's all I know, and the collector's edition looks cool.
You did more research on this one.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I did research on Loop 8. I was tracking that game for about 6 months, but man, that gameplay was so bad, Jesus, that sucks too. Because man, you had such an interesting concept for a game. But like I said, whenever I think I did review the game here on the show, if they would have just scrapped all of the like non-combat focus of the game, where you went like place to place of the map, scrapped all that and made it a light novel approach, like a Digimon Survive, the game would have been fine. And then hone in on the turn-based gameplay where it's not dog shit lag, and you would have been great. You would have had a great game, very challenging game, but a great game for sure. Dropped the ball. Unfortunate is what it is. I still have the collector's edition just because I can say I have it. Never gonna be worth anything, but I've got it. All right, let me shout out our other sponsor, Agent Inc. Use the referral link down below, pick up one of our hats or one of the jerseys, and you can also go check out sparky3shop.com where we have some more merch as well. But again, going to Agent Inc. with the referral link is a great way to support us. They also have a lot of other creators on there that you can check out as well. But definitely come check out our stuff. But use the referral link. That's the bottom line. Use the referral link, pick up a trash can hat. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, you got anything else, or do you want to start kind of running through some of the stuff here?
I don't think I have anything.
Okay. Well, the first thing I got is actually a question. So, as it does every year, but I will say this year is a little bit different than last year, because last year, obviously, it was there, but it was kind of like a lukewarm, like, hey, it's going to be good. It's going to have some cool stuff, but kind of calm down. This year is one of those years where a lot of people around the industry, not the man himself, are all saying, hey, get excited for the Game Awards. Game Awards is going to have some pretty good stuff. So that's more reminiscent to a couple years ago, because last year was kind of quiet to an extent. So I was going to ask you, do you have any expectations for this Game Awards? Because I've said my expectation. I think we'll see Persona 6, personally.
I don't mean this to be harsh when I say it. This is just my attitude towards the showcase.
That's fair.
That is going to be the Game Awards this year. I don't give a shit. And by that, I mean, like I said, it sounds harsh. I don't mean it to be harsh. I don't have any expectation. I don't care what's going to be there. This year, I've never cared about the awards.
Right.
I want to see a couple of things. It's like there's a couple games I want to see like get their flowers, and I don't know that they're going to.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm excited to see some of these games actually get something. As far as what's going to be there, it doesn't matter. We're gonna see some stuff, regardless of like if it's gonna be a hype showcase or not. I refuse to get hype for it, because even on years where Jeff tries to tell us to get hype,
it still ends up coming mid.
It's him being hype because he gets to show off stuff,
and he gets to bring up Hideo Kojima up there.
Yeah, it's like
his best
we're
friend.
gonna have that segment that's gonna take up like longer than 5 people giving a speech.
Yep.
Which is gonna piss us off again this year.
Yep, every time. No, I'm kind of in the same boat, because it's just like, there are 2 things that I would like to see at this showcase. Just kind of get either, one, another like trailer for, and 2, the reveal. I would like to see a reveal of Persona 6. It'd be cool. Like to see that. But I would love to see a new trailer for Exodus. There's been so much conversation. We've been having these like weekly Q&As of this game, right? Let's see another trailer. You know,
know what that is.
Yeah, no, yeah, you do. It's that one. It's okay. It's the one game that you were actually like interested in. It's like Mass Effect style space game. Matthew McConaughey's in it.
The one I was interested in was Expedition 33.
I know it is, but no, you said you were interested in Exodus, the one with Matthew McConaughey.
I know, but you can't phrase it as the one because when you say
Okay,
the one, I'm
I know.
immediately going to. I'm like,
Well,
that's
Expedition 33 is going to be like my game of the year next year. So
I think it's probably gonna your game of the year. It's not gonna be the game of the year.
well, I don't know if I want to channel the game of the year energy for it like I did Black Myth.
I don't think.
I like that you caught that.
I don't think you can. Remember what's coming out.
Yeah, I know. GTA 5 next year's the GTA 6.
I was gonna say, man,
GTA
what year
6.
you living in, man?
Yeah, my bad. 2013.
No, there's a very real chance that next year the three of us will be in like for the first time ever. We'll probably be like, yeah, Expedition 33.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I think that's all of our most hyped game.
Oh yeah, which I also would love to see another trailer for that. I mean, we just got like the cast reveal trailer.
I don't expect to. We might see something just to show that it's there.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
Well, honestly, we very well might because I mean, dude, it's only 3 months out. Let's think about that. So yeah, we might very well see something 3 or 4 months out.
But no, the Exodus game. Now I've gotten back. I don't remember what the game even looked like. I remember what.
I don't think they really showed what the game itself looked like. It was one of those cinematic deals.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
but I can't picture it right
Yeah,
now. I
that's
know
fair.
which one you're referencing,
Yeah.
but I can't picture it. No, I mean, yeah, I'd like to see something on it.
Yeah.
Because, or at least something to remind me why I got excited for it.
Right. Yeah. No, actual gameplay would be great. That's kind of my stance on it, actual gameplay. One thing that I am excited about, which is in the weekly wrap up, shout out to this. Hazelight Studios' next game, Split Fiction, will release March 6, 2025, and an official reveal will come this month, which will probably just be at the Game Awards. He has won the Game of the Year with It Takes Two. And he seems to be at the show every year, Joseph. So I imagine we will get the reveal of Split Fiction. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. He makes great games. I still have yet to play A Way Out, but I've seen gameplay on it, and I've seen kind of the gist of like the vibe of the game. It looks also great, but It Takes Two is one of the best games I've ever played. So look forward to seeing whatever that's going to be. So I guess that's going to be one of my only real main highlights as of right now going into it is like, all right, get to see Split Fiction, probably see Split Fiction. I don't see why we wouldn't.
I don't, like I said, I don't have any expectations going into it, which I almost prefer for going into a showcase now.
Yeah, just not having any hopes or dreams or whatever.
I would rather go into a showcase and see a mid showcase that like I don't know a whole lot about because I can at least appreciate it for what it is.
Right.
You know how glad I am to be out of that stupid. We're gonna go into a showcase and have to watch a 20-minute Starfield segment.
Right. Or like the 12-minute Concord segment.
It's like we went through 2 years of having to watch like 20-minute Starfield segments at like 3 times a year.
Yep.
It's like I would rather go into this and be just surprised by anything big that he's got.
Right.
Or just be happy that we see some stuff about for games we're already excited for.
True. I'm just hoping for a really sweet bombshell. You know what I mean? That's what I want. Is like give me a bombshell. Give us that that thumbnail title topic kind of vibe thing. Like give me that bombshell, which I think Persona 6 could be that bombshell. Obviously anything Naughty Dog, anything Sony Santa Monica, those would be bombshells. So who knows?
A bit early for those.
Yeah, a bit early, but you never know. You never know that we in the gaming industry have a tendency to reveal things very early. So you never know.
Even then, like Naughty Dog and like Santa Monica, like it's like think about when like some of their last games came out. It's like we kind of saw it, and then it was like, oh shit, that's coming way sooner than expected.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I mean that's about accurate. Yeah.
So, because I don't mind kind of like a year out for like from some of these guys. I swear to God, if we see like a teaser trailer, yeah, I'll probably get excited. But it's like, if we get a teaser trailer, it's like 2026, I'm going to lose my mind.
Lose it right there
I
on
don't-
stream.
Oh, I'm over it. Been over it.
Yeah, I'm over
I've
that
gone
shit
on
too.
too many rants about it.
I'm over that shit too. I feel you. All right, let's move on. Next up, Indiana Jones scores. So it was a top 10 seller on Steam. Shout out to that. God bless, an unbelievable amount of 9 out of 10s and 4.5 out of 5s, 4 out of 5s, but only a handful of perfect scores of 10 out of 10 and 5 out of 5s. So it's just overall, to my understanding, just a really good game. So that's good, I guess. It started off as an 85 on Metacritic and ended up going up to an 87, and it's currently an 86 on OpenCritic. So just a good game, apparently. Shout out.
Sure.
I'll play it on Monday.
I won't.
I know you won't.
Nothing against the game. I just have no interest in it.
See,
That's not the game's fault. That's my fault.
full transparency, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm the host of a video game podcast, I would not play it. That's the only reason. If it wasn't the fact that we were here, like I would not play it up front. I was like, I have Game Pass. I don't think you have it at the moment.
Yeah, the problem is, you say that you're going into a good game. When I was doing this shit, I was playing Redfall.
Yeah, you went to Redfall. Big difference.
You're like, I gotta jump on the 87 Metacritic game.
Oh, tragic.
I played the games that didn't work.
I salute you, sir. I appreciate you.
Act like you're falling on a fucking grenade over there.
I appreciate your dedication to the team with his Redfall controller at that, for the record.
Controller's still great. It's the best part about Redfall.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Next up, had some CD Projekt Red news via Your Gamer. So here you go, John. Here's something that I saw this and I thought of you. So one thing they said is when Witcher 4 is going to be revealed, it will release 1 to 2 years after the reveal at most. I'm like, oh, shout out.
Hey, here's the thing. I don't care when you reveal it. I don't care when it's actually coming out. You fully stated in advance, hey, we're gonna show this to you, and then we're gonna just go finish.
Yep.
It's like, we'll see you in maybe 2 years.
Kudos.
Thank you, at least for mentioning it.
Yeah.
Nobody else will.
Like, see, I think it's totally fair to at least know the property's happening. Like, obviously, we've known about Witcher 4 for years. Like, that's fair.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen a single thing on it.
The problem is, everyone else, they show something that everybody's excited for. And then it's like, okay, well, are we going to hear about that in 6 months, a year, 2 years?
Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, it's like, it's been 6 years since we saw a trailer with the title on it. Are we ever going to get to see this game again? No, I mean, yeah, mainly just, big kudos for saying, hey, we're going to, when we reveal it, 2 years. 2
At
years.
most.
2 years would be the furthest away. So anything under that is great to see.
Yeah.
It's transparency that I like.
Yeah, and I feel like that's important considering they learned that the hard way with Cyberpunk, which they kind of detailed a little bit further there, of where they, it was quoted that there's no magic. There's only hard work and making sure you stay on the right course. They have set up better studio organization to avoid another buggy launch. Call it what it is, another disaster launch, including a better review process and more time for pre-production. Cyberpunk launch wasn't the reason for the Unreal Engine 5 switch they did. They just wanted to be able to share assets between projects. That's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's like if you're gonna move there for one project, might as well move the other.
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. PC first release is not in the cards. It's going to launch at console at the same time. But they did also say that The Witcher 4 is going to be bigger and better than both Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk, which you would hope so. But overall, the biggest takeaway is when they reveal it, it's not going to be too far away from there. That, and it seems like they've really learned their lesson with Cyberpunk, which I think with the care and love that went into fixing Cyberpunk, I feel like you can take them at face value and say, okay, yes, they actually did learn their lesson. They're sorry, and they're not going to hopefully do it again.
It's one of those crazy things where, like CD Projekt, like they released Cyberpunk. Everybody wrote them off. Everybody said, I'm done. I don't care how much I like Witcher. I'm not coming back for it. A couple years later, like after revamps and releases and bug fixes and like the 1.0 and the DLC and everything, everybody's like, man, CD Projekt Red's just great.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's like this game's great. This company's great.
Yep.
It's like, man, it's like you were slandering them 4 years ago.
Yeah. No, for real.
But no, it is one where it's like, yeah, it's deserved.
Yeah.
It's like it was deserved at the time, but goddamn, did they earn their credit back?
Oh yeah. I mean, because like you know,
It's like it's probably one of the better examples, other than No Man's Sky, that we can give.
True.
No Man's Sky did a phenomenal job at turning a shit game into a beloved game.
Yep.
And
Now they have their new game coming out that looks great too.
I wouldn't say coming out.
Well,
I don't believe
in the works.
I don't believe the game. I don't believe the game because this is one of those ones.
It's one of the ones. Yes.
They have promised to create the greatest game ever made. I don't believe them.
Right.
I would love to see it, but I don't believe them.
Right, whatever it was called. What was it called? Like Project Earth? I don't remember.
No, I have it on.
I don't know.
I have it on my wish list on Steam.
I don't know. But now the CD Projekt Red thing, I mean, it is cool to see because you know, as someone that's played through all of Cyberpunk when it came out, and I just recently finally did Phantom Liberty and completed a 2.0 run. Dude, night and day, man. I'm not joking. It feels like I feel like I played a different game for the first time. Like, it's crazy. So I mean, they definitely earned their flowers back for sure. So, you know, just excited to see the future for like Witcher 4, the Witcher remake, as well as the next Cyberpunk project. So it's gonna be fun.
Light no fire.
Light no fire. There you go. That game has so much potential. It really does. And I feel like, you know, that's a situation of learning what happened with No Man's Sky. I don't feel like it's gonna come out and be a disaster. You know what I mean? I just have that feeling. You know, I don't think they want that again. But you know, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, the problem is if it does come out. Also, we got to keep in mind this game's like probably 5 years at minimum.
Yep, true.
From now, and it was talked about like a year or two ago. The problem is if this game does come out and it's a disaster, who better to put your faith in?
True.
To fix it.
Look what they do in No Man's Sky. Like, for real.
It's one of the better people to go.
Well, at least
I mean, they don't know how to release a game, but goddamn, they know how to fix one.
Yeah, they can make it run. They can make it work, and they can make it great. Just give them a little time. Let's see. Hey, I mentioned Sean Layden earlier. I'm going to mention him again. So he recently said Sony was lucky to survive the PS3 era. His full quote was, PS3 was Sony's Icarus moment. We had the PS1, the PS2, and now we're building a supercomputer, and we're going to put Linux in it, and we're going to do all sorts of things, and we just flew too close to the sun, and we were lucky and happy to have survived that experience, but it taught us a lot. Was curious your thoughts on that, because I look back at that generation, and I look at just how much the 360 dominated, and I look at now today, the PS3, how pretty much almost every PS3 in existence is a ticking time bomb with the cell processor that they thought would be the future, and it wasn't. Like, do you think that's pretty accurate that they were lucky to survive that gen? Because, like, while there's a lot of great games, that $600 launch price tag, you know, constant server issues and everything, I kind of get what he's saying.
I mean, I get it. And it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I mean, during that era, how many people did you know with a PS3?
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's still a high selling console.
It's still a high selling console, but it's one of those where it's like, I have a feeling a lot of those PS3s were bought like
well after the fact.
They were bought towards the end when it was like
the slim
when it was
model
people
or
when it was
whatever.
people like me going,
yeah,
oh man, there's a lot of PS3 games I want to play. I guess I should buy a PS3.
And you probably bought the slim model. That's a lot cheaper.
But it's like, and that was kind of the thing is it's like, yeah, the 360 dominated, and nobody thought Xbox was ever gonna fail, or like could ever lose. I mean, you know, and then we saw what happened.
True.
We saw what happened and what has continued to happen.
Yep.
But it's one of those where, yeah, I mean, I'm glad they turned it around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because PS4 was great.
It's like PS4 was fantastic. I love my PS5.
Yeah.
It's like I got so hooked into the Sony like during the PS4 era that it's weird for me to go back and play my Xbox now.
Mm-hmm.
Like even my Series X, it feels weird going to play it. I'm like, why am I not on my PlayStation?
Right.
Yeah, and it's kind of it is kind of funny that like during that era, when if you ever talk to somebody about playing games, everybody knew you meant on a 360.
Yep.
Nowadays, it seems like playing game, like if you go to like hit someone up to play a game, I feel like most people consider it to be like PlayStation nowadays.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's weird to like have been in both.
Yeah, because me and you, we have been on both sides.
It's like, yeah, because now people are like, hey man, what you got on what you playing on your PlayStation?
Yeah.
It's like what you got over there?
Yep.
Because I don't think about Xbox games hardly ever unless it's a big game.
Yep.
When I think of games, I think of PlayStation games.
Right. See, I'm actually more of an Xbox. I use my Xbox Series X a lot more. And it's honestly just because, like, you know, PlayStation, they have so many amazing bangers that come out, you know, for first property stuff, right? So, like, me being a physical guy, like, I know I'm always going to have PS5 games on my shelf. But with Xbox, like, you know, I'm just going to play it on Game Pass. So, for me, the reason I play so much Xbox is that's where I'm playing all my third-party content. Playing Dragon Age on Xbox, playing Metaphor on Xbox, got Dragon Ball on Xbox. I played, Persona 3 Reload on Xbox because it came to Game Pass. Played Persona 5 Royal on Xbox. It came to Game Pass, and then I bought it later. Like, it's just, I don't know, I play my third party. I bought Resident Evil 4 on Xbox. That's just where I play my third party stuff, just so I can have stuff on my shelf. Because, I'm weird, and I like stuff on my shelf. It makes me happy. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's very heavy PlayStation, obviously. The sales numbers say that alone. But I think it is kind of interesting to think about his comment, though, that they were lucky to survive the PS3 era, because I kind of agree to a point, even though the sales numbers say otherwise. But again, I feel like the sales numbers really came more when they got rid of the big brick model and they kind of started dialing it back and getting more slim models, especially from that price point. Next couple things I've got is there's a rumor that a remaster of Kirby Planet Robobot is coming to Switch in 2025 per Nate the Hate. I did not even know that was a game. When I saw that little news bit, I'm like, okay, what console did that come out on? It was a 3DS game. All right, cool. Didn't know that.
Okay.
Yep, cool. Gonna have a remaster next year. And then this was kind of interesting. Switch 2 Joy-Cons. Photos for them seems to have leaked. I did see them. Just more of a kind of a curved design in terms of like the rounding of the edges. There is an extra button on the back so that, normally the Joy-Con has the bumpers and the one trigger. So it looks like it's bumpers plus two triggers. Plus like there's one more additional button on the front. So, and it pretty much matches the blueprint leaks that happened like a month or two ago, pretty much identically. So I would very safely assume the photos that are going around are legit. Especially since we know it's in production in China, and that's where the leak came from, was China, on the website Bilibili, I believe is what it's called. So, yeah, shout out to that. If you haven't seen them yet, go take a look at them. It's something to kind of take a quick peek at, I guess. I don't know. So that is all I've got for the news, unless I missed anything, and I don't think I did. Nope, that's all I got for the news. You got any news? Any news? News?
Not really.
Oh, Baldur's Gate.
I was gonna say just mentioning Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep.
They're not done with it yet. Baldur's Gate 3 is getting patch 8, 12 new subclasses, crossplay, photo mode, and various additional like bug fixes and smaller content from there.
Yep.
But yeah, big massive news. New subclasses, a lot of highly requested subclasses. So this is probably the last big hurrah for Baldur's Gate 3 before they move on.
Yep.
But they're doing it with a bang.
Yep.
I'm when this patch drops, very much going back and doing another playthrough.
Yep. Yeah, I saw a lot of videos about how excited people were about the subclass, because I know one thing people immediately pointed out is that there's apparently actually finally a subclass that works perfectly for Shadowheart and her character or whatever. So shout out to that, I guess. I haven't got far enough into Baldur's Gate 3 to kind of have a strong opinion on that. But either way, that is really cool to finally get that last little send-off.
Yeah,
shout out.
Big news there. The more exciting news from that means Larian's moving on.
Yep.
Love Baldur's Gate 3 to death. More excited about their next game.
Yep. Whatever it's going to be. Whether it be a Divinity or a new property. I think they already said it was a new property, right?
I think they said they would like, or
they would like to. But.
They would like to, but I know they also want to go back to Divinity. Doesn't matter what it is. They specialize in their types of game, and they might be. It's like they're up there as one of the most beloved companies right now.
Yep.
Their last couple games they've made have all been absolute bangers.
It's like what we just said. It's one of those few companies that the moment you see their logo pop up, you're good. See you in 4 or 5 years, but we're good. Yeah. No worries.
I'll see you in 2 years in early access.
Yep.
And then 2 to 3 years after that for the full release.
Correct. All right, last thing we got is Gamestetic Game of the Week, which I suppose would be me, yeah? Yeah, okay. So I did come prepared today. I did come prepared, actually. So I am going to go kind of basic. I am going to go a former Game of the Year nominee. Not winner, but nominee. And the only reason why is because my wife's playing through the game for the first time, and I've kind of like stepped in and kind of like watched her playing it and stuff. And it just reminded me of just how insanely unique and creative this game was. So the Gamestetic Game of the Week this week will be Stray. Hey, it did just come out for the Switch recently, so you can pick up the Switch copy. I think it came out in the last few months for $40. Shout out to that. But yes, indie game. It was nominated for Game of the Year. I think the year it came out, 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. I think it was 2 years ago, or I don't think it was last year. It's also on PlayStation Plus. You can check it out there. But it's all about a story of a cat that gets separated from its family into an abandoned city there's no people. There are robots that are basically fully alive, and you're just trying to get out, kind of navigate through this entire city and find your way out to try to reunite back with your family. Meet your little robot friend who jumps on your back along the way, B12, and just kind of go through it. And it's just a lot of puzzles, a lot of navigating, just being a cat, just going around knocking shit off. You can go around, take naps, scratch stuff up, go rub up on people, just living your best little cat life. And just kind of unraveling the mystery of what happened here. Because as she's been playing it and she's fallen so much in love with it. Because again, it's not a long game. It's like a 6-hour game, but dude, it's just the concept about it is so dang creative, right? It's one of those. That's why it was nominated for Game of the Year. It's so freaking unique, and just being able. It's not the best game I've ever played. It's not. It's probably not even top 50 best games I've ever played, but it's one of the most unique games I've ever played. And I say that just for my own personal interests, what I enjoy, what I love the most, right? But it's still one of the most unique games I've ever played, and that's why it's always going to hold a special place in my heart. Because it's just experiencing it for the first time is very special. Just going through there and seeing the different things about the game, just the creative approach to it, of all the traversal that you do, and just the puzzles, and just the whole world itself, and the vibe and everything about it. It's all very creative. It's all very alive. It's all very it gives you a different feeling approaching the game for the first time. So, when I said it's not that, top 50 best, that's just my personal tastes, the games that I enjoy to play, but it's still one of the most memorable. So I know it sounds kind of, contradicting there, but again, it's just personal taste in terms of what my favorite games are of all time. But it's definitely one worth picking up. I played it on PlayStation Plus when it came out and beat it in basically a day and a half. Again, it's a short game. And then when they put the pre-order up for the physical copies for the PS5, I immediately picked it up just because it's something I knew I wanted to have on my shelf. And honestly, I kind of want to pick up the Switch version. I really want to build my Switch collection kind of the same extent that I've built my GameCube collection of I just want to have the games. Even if I'm not going to play them, I still just want to have them. So I kind of want to pick it up for Switch. But yeah, if you have not played Stray, it's a great game to sit down and kill 5-6 hours or so. Really recommend it. It's extremely unique, and I think it'll blow you away in that regard alone. So that is this week's Gamestetic Game of the Week is Stray. Shout out. All right, let me hit the music and we can get out of here. All right, let's go.
Thank you all for watching, everybody. And if you like what you saw here, then come check us out. We do these what, Saturday? Today's Saturday. Yeah,
today
Saturday
is
about
Saturday.
6 p.m. Central Time. I'm losing my mind over here right now, but it's all okay. Yeah, we're just going to throw it over to him now.
Okay. Well, also, we should be back on Thursday, the 12th. Yes, the 12th for the Game Awards live stream. You can watch alongside of us, get our live reactions as we do go through it. So shout out to that. Unless John or I get sick, we'll be there. Because that's usually what happens when we're not there, is that one of us gets sick or both of us get sick. It happens. But yeah, we should be there for that. So check us out then at youtube.com/@Sparky3. We'd appreciate that. And then, of course, we'll be back next week reacting to the Game Awards. I will talk about Indiana Jones, however much I play this week. It may not hook me at all, and I play 30 minutes. Who knows? But yeah, make sure to check out the Patreon, check out the Discord, our two sponsors, Agent Inc. and Rogue Energy. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you so much. Bye.